Did you know that chiropractic and massage is just half right? And the scariest part about that statement is that it's half wrong. So, chiropractic and massage are one size fits all modalities, contrary to popular opinion. While they are helpful for acute injuries or accidents requiring long-term support, ongoing, you keep going back, means that the root causes are not being addressed. They are also band-aids. Contrary to popular belief, however you say that, they're band-aids. They are not solving the root causes. So while they may provide some symptom relief, the underlying source of dysfunction, the deeper biochemical and structural dysfunction, is completely ignored. Now, that's kind of like, if your gas empty light goes on in your car and you try to cover the light up with like duct tape, that doesn't work so well. There's going to be a real problem. Your car is going to not work so well. Same with the check engine light. You don't just cover up the light, you got to actually do diagnostics on the engine. And if you don't address the root causes, you're going to have way bigger problems. So the 100% right way to eliminate your pain and maintain your results is to address the source of the problem. Doesn't that make sense? Cause and effect. Once you do, you will not require ongoing adjustments and ongoing therapies and ongoing band-aid approaches. You will know how to heal yourself every time. You will know how to get to the root cause. You will know how to give yourself what you need. Now, if you don't do this, if you don't get this right and you continue to follow the conventional wisdom or the holistic alternative wisdom of all these body workers, one, your problem will get worse over time and you will experience more problems as you age, and you will experience aging, which it's a myth that aging has symptoms. That's a myth. The only reason you feel like you're aging or you have symptoms with aging is because you didn't address the root causes long ago when they started, and now you're starting to have more problems. Your nervous system, second consequence, is that your nervous system will become weak. It will not regulate itself, causing it to be addicted to the external body work. And let me tell you, that's one expensive addiction. 3, the root causes of the pain will cause other problems in the body. Could be arthritis, it could be autoimmune disease, it could be digestive disorders or allergies or fatigue, chronic fatigue, or other chronic illness. Look, your structural health and physical pain are not disconnected. So your structural health is connected to your physical pain, is connected to your metabolic and internal function, and your emotional and mental health. It's all one system. So we've got to look at all the root causes of what's going on for each individual. So Ryan, topic is simple today. Why is the conventional wisdom wrong, and what is the solution?
Yeah, so we've talked at length in other videos about how how the structure can be distorted as a result of postural malalignment, right? So going back, I always start at the feet, notice, right? Or the head, right? The open ends of the chain. Let's, for the sake of change of discussion, let's just use forward head posture this time instead of feet, right? So let's say my head is pushed forward. Obviously, there's going to be all these different, my body's going to create all these different distortion patterns to keep me from falling forward, right? So if my head's forward out in front of my body, I'm not going to fall flat on my face. So what am I going to do? I'm going to hyperextend through my lumbar spine, right? So now I've got all these malformations going on. But where, chiropractic, I believe gets it half right, is they talk about how you have the central nervous system, right, moving down the spinal column, and then you have the peripheral nervous system, and those nerves branch out into the brachial nerves, the femoral nerves, right? So what happens is, if you have 2 vertebrae stacked, and then you have a peripheral nerve out the lateral side, and you have a distortion pattern going on, so say an impingement to a nerve, well, now it can be shutting off neural drive to an organ system or to a muscle. Like I have a client, for example, the other day, he was having trouble gripping. He had like a weak grip in his left versus right. I did some soft tissue work to his where the brachial plexus is that innervates the arm, and all of a sudden his grip came back, right? So so again, remember the nervous system relays the information to the physiology, to the muscular system. So they're half right in that. But again, as we've talked about before, the information that you put into the body, the reprogramming, so to speak, is what ultimately retrains the movement patterns in the body so that you don't fall back into these distortions. So if my body has adapted to walking in a particular way, well, and in that particular way is throwing my bony structures out of alignment. That's creating nerve impingement. I go in, boom, I get everything kind of pop back into place. Great, I feel good for a couple of days. But guess what? That same neural drive to the neuromuscular system is still telling me, hey, we move like this, right? So what you do is you retrain the system, right? You go in, you do the soft tissue work, you identify where the problems are, and you retrain that movement pattern. And then over time, that is the new default pattern, right? Then we don't have to continue going to see the body workers, right? So, and I say this, coming from a place of being a massage therapist, right? Like it's obviously my business to work on people, but it's also, it's frustrating to see people taken advantage of, because there are people who don't care. They just want a massage. They're like, I'm not, there are very few people who are willing to take the initiative to actually put in the time and the work to overcome a lifetime of chronic pain and, avoid it. They'll spend tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars on it. You know what I mean? So whatever, to each their own. So that's essentially, kind of the primary issue that I see with it, is that, you're going to see someone for just this kind of, again, like you said, one size fits all adjustments. And those are the worst, in my opinion. I've seen there are a lot of chiropractic clinics out there that do a one size fits all. I used to love, and I still do love, watching chiropractic videos. Like, one, it's awesome to hear people pop, but two, it's just fun for me because I love kinesiology and anatomy and, all of that stuff. So, but I'll watch this one guy, he's in like Texas or something, and it's literally the same thing over and over again. He's running people through the same thing. And I'm like, well, how do you not know that maybe they didn't need a cervical adjustment? Maybe they didn't, you know what I mean? So that is essentially the primary problem, I think, with the whole system.
And it makes so much sense. It's like, people get out of conventional because they realize that system's failing. I don't need surgery, so they go to the chiropractor. At least in my own experience, you go to the chiropractor and you're like, oh, it makes so much sense. Yeah. Like, it's pinching the nerve, it's doing this, it's whatever, cutting off communication and blood flow to my organs, or, it causes my anxiety because of how it affects this part of my brain, but nobody's asking, like you're saying, well, hold on, why?
Yeah.
Why that? That's not the root cause. That might be a root cause of some other symptoms, but our process is like, let's get down to the very core. But why? But why that? But why that? But why that? And until you're truly at the root cause, you're going to have to require ongoing band-aids. That's what we're talking about. This ongoing, if you're constantly going out of alignment, what's the real version of why? And I've even seen functional neurologists who I feel like had one level deeper. A lot of them were chiropractors who went into neurology because they understood the kinds of things you're talking about, Ryan, not quite as in depth, but they understood that it's the brain patterns and the nervous system patterns that are actually throwing off stuff. But their remedy was to do like eye movement exercises, or do random exercises to improve a part of the brain, to improve everything else. Yeah. Well, what about the way that you walk? What about how your feet are? What about truly restoring your body to optimal function? And that's where I love what you're teaching. It's truly like the core root cause. I mean, it's down to the blueprint of how we are supposed to be, what functional is, and when you understand that blueprint and how it works, the blueprint for my own personal body that's unique to me, when I understand my blueprint, it doesn't matter what kind of problem I have, I can always get back to functional. And I so appreciate that. That's why what you're teaching us here is so different than all the other systems and approaches, which are just kind of like, they're married to their system or approach. They're not really married to teaching people what they need as a unique one size, one individual person. So that's just what I have to say. And I didn't introduce us, but I'm Mikal and this is Ryan. And we are your co-hosts here in the Facebook group. And we're here to teach you the real causes of your pain and suffering so that you are not stuck. If you don't want to be, you're not stuck spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on short-term fixes, on short-term relief, and we understand, I certainly do, the anxiety that comes with, well, when is my neck going to go out? When is my back going to act up? And my spouse has dealt with chronic pain, and it's kind of like, can I get what I need to get done at work today? Or am I going to be, do I need to come home early? Like, am I going to have to push through excruciating pain another day? We understand what it's like to rate your day from my normal pain versus unbearable pain. Like, that is not a way to live. So if you guys are open-minded and willing to learn, the blueprint of your own body, how to understand what it's telling you, how to give it what it needs, and do it for yourself, book a free breakthrough call with us. It's at the link above or below the video, healingtraumanow.com/apply. Book a time that works for you. Fill out the application form to tell us what your symptoms are, what you've tried, and what your goals are in your health. And we'll dive in deep. And I look forward to talking to you guys more and teaching you in the group. Let us know if you've got comments or what you're struggling with, and we'll make some great videos for you. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, real quick, the one thing I would say to everybody watching, listening right now is what makes it so powerful that you and I are working together is because we're root cause people, right? As a functional medicine practitioner, you and me looking for root cause issues structurally. And as we talked about in other videos, you mentioned that, a client, for example, had constipation that was leading to lower back pain, and then lower back pain can be doing, you know what I mean? So what's so great is that we have somebody like yourself that can do the internal physiological biochemical work, which can be manifesting itself extrinsically and physically, as where I can help you with the physical stuff that may be leading to some internal physiological problems too. So when you guys are getting the inside and the outside, which is fantastic because all bases are covered when you're working with Nicole and I. So just wanted to throw that out there, that it's a very powerful duo that she and I have going on right now, because it's not common when you have people that are kind of teamed up that have these different levels of expertise.
I love what you said. And we're both on like 11, 12 years of experience and working with people that everyone else has failed. And I love what you pointed to, Ryan, just to add to that, because chiropractic is just one thing.
Yeah.
Massage is just one thing. But when you have a system that identifies the root causes, there could be hundreds of thousands of tools. And it's a never ending, always expanding toolkit that you and I have in our experience of working with people, and we know this stuff works. So that's why we're passionate. We're here, we're teaching you guys, because people need to know, and people need to stop their addiction to Band-Aids, and stop needing to be ripped off, by thinking they're addressing the root cause, every single week, or 3 times a week. That's a little bit crazy. Your nervous system and body is able to keep itself in alignment. And
also I'll say, keep in mind too, for those who, are one of those people who is getting adjustments 2-3 times a week, or know people are getting adjustments 2-3 times a week. Every time you adjust a joint, there creates just a little bit more laxity in that joint. And what's scary about that is laxity, joint laxity. I mean, there's almost nothing I don't want to say nothing, because there's always something in the works that could be done. But for the most part, when you get to the point where your joints are moving too loosely, that's a problem. So I wish there was more disclosure to patients from chiros on that issue. I mean, even friends of mine who are chiropractors say the same thing. So keep that in mind. Don't get unstable joints. Like, it's a terrible thing, and it's scary because you can have chronic nerve pain as a result of that. I mean, if you have hips that just don't stabilize, you're constantly impinging nerves, then you're looking at getting bolts, you know what I mean? Then they're gonna have to bolt those things together. So anyway, that's the last thing I'll say about it.
That's good. Well, we're so passionate. We just feed off each other. Ryan, that was me.
Yeah.
I was a person who sneezed and 5 ribs popped out. I did not hold my adjustments. Cervical instability, which then gave me dysautonomia, which, you guys, is freaking scary. Like, I have laid in bed from head to toe for months to years. I was bedridden for 2 years at my worst. Bedridden. Constantly going back to the chiropractor because I would just walk to the kitchen and my shoulder would pop off. Like, talk about chronic and acute pain, but like that joint laxity, it's no joke. And you know what? All I knew to do was go to the chiropractor. And he actually turned on additional autoimmune conditions for me. This stuff is serious. Like, you got to know what you're doing, and you got to have the disclaimers. So thanks for sharing that, Ryan. And I'm not that way today, as you can see. I'm not that way, and I hold my body together, and it's just a total different experience, but I get what it's like to be that bad. So we love you guys. We wish you well. We wish you a good week, and we'll see you in our next video.